Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Gobble, 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 gobble. It's expensive this year, and people are going to feel that. We are heading into the holidays. It's officially here. Really, Monday. Halloween, which is my favorite, along with Christmas, it's a tie, is Sunday. Monday, 90% of stations in markets across the country will flip over to Christmas music, if not earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if some go by Friday. And then you're going to be like, oh, you're seeing Christmas stuff everywhere. People are starting to get the vibe, but they're not quite sure exactly what to do. But before any of that, we got to get to Thanksgiving. And lo and behold, sweet Mama Jamma, it's going to be expensive.
Thanksgiving is now less than a month away, and it's shaping up to be the most expensive meal in the history of the holiday. Consumer groups say almost every ingredient in a traditional American Thanksgiving, from the disposable aluminum roasting pan to the pumpkin pie, will cost more. The supply chain crisis, trade policies, labor shortages, weather, and inflation are all contributing to higher prices. Experts warn that the biggest expense this year will be the turkey.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. Gonna suck this year. And people are looking around. What do we want? We want somebody to be accountable for it. We want somebody to understand what's going on. And we need somebody to blame. And inflation, remember, the whole inflation thing started out like, this is just a supply chain issue. It's not a lot to worry about. We'll be fine. 30-year high, and now you got Janet Yellen going, maybe by the end of next year, we'll see inflation start to come down.
This is the pain presidency. Americans, Republican, Independent, Democrats, apolitical, all feel the pain on core inflation being at a 30-year high. The pain of gas prices up more than 40%, of food, poultry, meat, seafood up double digits. That's why Thanksgiving's going to be so expensive. The pain of a supply chain crisis that increases demand and pushes the cost of goods even higher.
Yeah. This is the pain presidency at this point in time. Yesterday I spoke with Alex Stone, ABC News. And this, first of all, it's a minute and a half. He takes one breath and rattles off the insanity of how expensive things are going to be. I want you guys to listen to this, but see how the supply chain absolutely plays a part. But there's so many things that go into this. It's nuts. I'm telling you guys right now, it is crazy. It really is.
Across the board, product prices are going up. Turkey, spices, cranberry coffee, even the aluminum turkey roasting pan is costing a lot more this year. So Nestle and Procter & Gamble, they say their product prices are going up, number of reasons, and that then means that you're paying more for every item that you're buying at the store right now. So it's a mix of supply chain, higher transport costs with gas prices sky high, labor being in short supply, trade policies, inflation. Price of food went up 4.6% year over year in September. Meat and poultry up 10.5%, which is a problem when you're talking about a turkey. So breaking this down, the price per pound for turkey expected to surpass the record benchmark price per pound of $1.36 back in 2015. Turkey prices, farmers say, up because corn is way up and they've got to feed the birds. Frozen birds, 25 cents a pound higher than a year ago. Jeez. Packaged dinner roll prices are up because everything in them costs more. They use the flour and everything else to make them. Anything in a can is more expensive because plants are still catching up. China has limited steel production to cut greenhouse gas emissions there. Wine prices are up because glass bottle prices are up. The labor out in the field. So whether it be the wine or the turkey or the aluminum pan or the canned cranberry sauce, which I argue is better than the fresh stuff, it's all going to be more expensive.
That's right. More expensive. It's the first time we're probably going to get together since the election last year and everything was finally settled and we've had time to look at this presidency. Don't think for a second people are going, God, I wish COVID was this year in a crazy way because I had an excuse last year not to see my family. This year, there is no excuse. And you're going to go there and your uncle who voted for Trump's going to go, are you enjoying this? Right? Your daughter who is pro-Trump, but maybe you're a bit of a hippie and you're like, Biden's going to bring the world together. They're going to go, are you liking this, Mom and Dad? We're looking for the scapegoat. You wanted to be the man. You got to be the man. Now, how are you going to sort this out? That's what people are asking. And look, I understand how so much of this works. But they're not telling you everything. When they say inflation's up 4%, you guys ever heard of compound interest? The way that works? Think about that when you go to the supermarket. The compound interest. If everything, you buy 100 things, cost 3, 4, 5% more than it did last year, and it costs you another 40 cents, 50 cents, $1 more to get there. You start adding that up, and what was normally $150 for your groceries or $200 isn't $210. It's $300. And you're like, oh, it adds up. It's the economy, stupid. It's the economy, stupid. And at the end of the day, people will still always vote with their checkbook. We could pretend that this wokeness and all of this stuff is, it's changing everything. And people vote with their checkbook. People vote with their checkbook when they don't have money and they want the government and people in there to help them. And people vote with their checkbook when they should have money and they're working hard and they don't see it. People are pissed and they're getting angry and they're getting disgruntled. I've heard more this week, and there's plenty of time for Biden and this administration to turn it around. But at the end of the day, we're a year away from midterms. And if you're telling me inflation's going to be here all the way through next year, I'm telling you the bloodbath coming for the Democrats is going to be huge. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. All that being said, there is one race that is going on right now that people are paying attention to, and that is the Virginia race. So you've got Youngkin taking on Terry McAuliffe, who was the former governor. Now, producer Phil, I don't know if you've heard this, but I'm going to play. This is an ad that is being played by Terry McAuliffe right now, and based on this ad alone, if I knew nothing about either candidate, I'm voting for the other guy.
There's an election coming up in my home state, and I don't know about you, but I think it'd be pretty great if we could all get out to vote to keep Virginia blue. For governor, I'll vote for Terry McAuliffe, 'cause he's done the job before and he fights for all of us. So let me tell you where he stands on key issues. He defends gender equalities with all of his might. He's a brick wall for women's reproductive rights. So on November 2nd, get out to vote and check your registration. Don't miss the boat.
Wow.
You're a musician, Phil. Rate that.
That was awful.
There you go. Heard it from Phil. He didn't lie, guys. He doesn't lie. He doesn't lie. So why people are looking at this? So McAuliffe, right? He's the former governor. Glenn Youngkin is the guy that is, he's walking the fine line. You got a guy that's been in politics, but at the same time, the Carlyle Group. He was this guy was a member of the Carlyle Group, which is a huge private equity firm. He was the co-CEO of the Carlyle Group. 2021, here it is. He decides, I'm running for this. I'm going to go for this. He threw some money in, right? And he's got some cash. He spent $5.5 million of his own on the primary. But then what started to happen is over time, the unpopularity of Biden started to erode McAuliffe. What a lot of people thought was going to be a win for McAuliffe, potentially a boat race, has now become a dead heat. McAuliffe last night had Biden there, but he has avoided Biden to almost the end of this. He's had everybody but Biden because he's said it over and over. He's not helping. He's actually a drain. But he called him in last night. It's very interesting, though. Glenn Youngkin's an interesting cat because he has done what I think you're going to see a lot of people do in the races coming up and in politics right now when it comes to Trump. You don't throw Trump away, but you keep him at an arm's length, Heisman style, right? You don't throw him away, but you keep him at the arm's length. You can embrace some of the stuff, but you want to walk a fine line, and it's a tough thing to do. It's the same thing. It's the same thing that the left is going to have with Biden, especially if things keep going. You want to embrace Biden because he's the president and the leader of your party, but at the same time, you want to distance yourself from the stuff that's going on. And that's what politicians have to deal with now. This will be interesting. If he wins, I think this is a real warning shot that I don't think the Democrats would see coming. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. My Pillow, made right here in the United States of America. Right now they got the BOGO, buy one, get one free with the bed sheets called the Giza Dream Sheets. They're a dream sheet because you slide into them. They're amazing. You're going to sleep incredibly cool and comfortable. The best sheets you'll ever going to own, made from long staple cotton, grown in a small area in the Mediterranean, and absolutely incredible. The patented technology and the way they put it together makes it feel like you're sleeping on $1 million, and you buy one, you get one free. 6-day money-back guarantee, right? 1-year limited warranty. All the colors, the sizes, everything you need. You're going to love, love, love these. They got deep discounts across all of the MyPillow website there. Check out. You got the discounts on the MyPillow, the Giza Dream Sheets, the towels, the mattress toppers, the My Slippers, you name it. Deep discounts. All you have to do is go to MyPillow.com. Use that promo code Benson to save big. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
Off the air, we were chatting about the elections that are going on. And you know what I'd like them to have is, so let's just say, depending on how many people are running, right? So let's say there's 5 people running for, for governor. You've got, the Green Party, the Weird Party, the Independent, whatever it is, and then the traditional Republican Democrat. I would always like there to be a third last choice. Pass. That way, at the end of the night, they would go, 870,000 people voted for X, 784,000 people voted for blah, and then they go down the rest. And then in third was pass with 275,000 votes. And you'd be like, oh. There are 275,000 people out there that don't like either of us. It's funny because you say you're going to govern for everyone. What about those people who say, pass? I don't like either of you. Because as we've talked about, we continue to do so, and we will continue to do so. I want to vote for somebody I want to vote for. I'm sick and tired of voting against somebody. The lesser of two evils is still evil. And I'm not saying these people are Satan worshipers who want to steal your babies. I'm just saying, if you have two bad choices, like this is your best bad, this is the best bad. I mean, I think people would like to look at somebody and go, you know what? I like this person here. This person here. This person here tried to sell me on their ideas, which is the way we used to govern and the way that we used to campaign, which is, here is my ideas. This is what I believe would be best for my constituents, the state, the country, whatever it is. I put my ideas out there and say, this is my plan for whatever it is that you're running for. And you've also got to temper that with reality, right? Because at the end of the day, you're running and you're part of a party and there's special interest and you also have the other side, if you will, and all of that stuff. And It would be just great to have somebody come up there and just go, look, I'm going to bust my ass. I'm going to work hard, show up every single day. And I'm going to always be working. And it's not going to be perfect. And it ain't going to be pretty at times. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everything's going to be rosy if you vote for me. Because it's not. And you got to make the effort in life too. And the goal is to do everything we can to get out of your ways in the government and to give you the opportunities that are out there. And make sure that those things are protected. But you got to take all of those things. And just have somebody that's real. But we don't. Because everybody's got a talking point. And nobody is willing to take a fresh approach. Nobody is. The last person the one thing about Trump, right? He is obnoxious at times, a loudmouth at times, etc. All that stuff. I mean, yes. I mean, you're going to get no argument from me. But you kind of knew where you stood at times. But I go back to John McCain, right? And the thing about John McCain, do you remember that time that lady's like, oh, you know, he's a Muslim when he was running against Obama? He goes, no, he's not, man. He's a Christian and he's a good man. He's a good father. He's a good man. We just have different political views. People are like, oh. I'm like, that was real. That was genuine. And the time he's in Ohio and they're talking about bringing manufacturing jobs back and he looks right at him. He goes, this is just not going to happen. It's not the world we live in anymore. It was kind of refreshing. We don't have that. Instead, we have you suck, but I suck a little less than you. I suck too. You suck, but I don't suck as much as you suck. Like you're really, really bad, but I'm only really bad. 323-538-2423. It's like choosing between a train crash or a plane crash. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Woke Wednesday. Should we get a little woke? Wait till you hear this one. Chairs. I didn't know chairs could be so mean. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I love it. It's Halloween week. So I've been watching horror movies. We got our countdown coming up in a little bit. Number 3 today. We'll do that in just a bit. And terrifying movie to say the least. One I think everybody's seen and enjoys. And we love fear. Fear is a real thing that is both terrifying and exhilarating. Many people are curious about it. And Dr. Sanjay Gupta, this has nothing to do with ivermectin, by the way. I just want to tell you that. Or Joe Rogan, or having to do some sort of mea culpa on his network CNN. Has a podcast talking about fear. And he's spot on.
People are afraid of a pretty surprising and varied set of things.
Kind of weird and random, but I am afraid of a face in the window. Somebody I know, a loved one, walks outside and looks in the window. It freaks me out.
I'm calling about what scares me the most, and that would be mice.
Being alone in the dark.
Witches.
Birds. Like, I can feel my blood turn cold.
Yeah, in fact, a good majority of Americans believe in witches and, witches are real. I mean, whether or not you think they have magic or stuff, but ghosts and demons and things of that nature. But fear is one of those things. It's one of the reasons I was talking about what's the biggest fear? What's the biggest fear in the world? It's dying. Why? Because there's an unknown. We don't know. We can have faith. We can have all those things, but there's still an unknown, and that's massive. But fear is politics is fear nowadays. Politics is fear. Fear of what? Well, if you don't vote for me, the other person's going to destroy you. Horror movies are massive sellers. You go back and you look at today, Universal, in fact, most of Hollywood back in the day was saved by Universal's big horror movie, really trifecta that they had. Right? So you had the werewolf, you had Dracula, and you had Frankenstein, which kind of really saved a lot of what was going on with Universal and Hollywood at the time. But because it was fear. It's like fear. Fear is crazy, but you use it, right? People use it in the world, whether it is to scare people, whether it is to like to get people to do something, right? The fear of loss, the fear of losing out on a great investment, all of those things, or the fear of losing an investment, all of those things, there's something there. But this is a different kind of fear. This is the fear of the creepy, the scary, the ooh, what is that bump in the night?
Now, I got to say something. I personally really like fear. See, the thing is, we often think of fear as unpleasant. It's wrapped up with danger, pain, maybe even death. Not a lot of people know this about me, but Halloween is kind of my favorite holiday. In fact, one of the things I get a ton of joy from is coming up with new ways to scare my wife and my 3 daughters. I don't know why, but I just kind of love it. And interestingly, they do as well.
Yeah, because it's fear. There's something about it. The adrenaline, everything going, all of that stuff. It's just, and part of it, like, too, I look at, like, the kids. Like, my son is a big example of it. So many kids nowadays are willing to do crazy stuff, some of them, but a lot of them are terrified. They don't want to look stupid. They don't want to look, they're afraid to put that first foot forward. They're afraid to make that effort. They're afraid. And because they start building stuff up. And I'm like, dude, that's when you need to use that adrenaline. He says, were you ever scared? I said, yeah. But I said, it was a different kind of scared. It was an adrenaline kind of nervous. I mean, I played with guys who've played in World Cups, and they would throw up before every game. And that included goof around games, because there's just something about it. It's that adrenaline, and you use it.
I'll spend days, even weeks before Halloween, designing a spooky forest in our front yard, complete with ghosts and goblins and surprises. I also like being scared myself. I like horror films. I like roller coasters, you name it. I can't get enough of that adrenaline kick from a good scare. And it left me wondering, why do I love this feeling so much? Why do so many people like being scared?
Yeah. And there's, you got people out there that, like, they love roller coasters, right? It's the adrenaline junkies. I was talking to producer Anthony before the show, and he talks about the fact that he used to just love to go to roller coasters. He loved all of that stuff. There's an adrenaline that goes into something, and you feel it. And then when you feel like you've accomplished something, and it was, oh my God, and you're like, it wasn't that bad, but there's a sense of, I'm alive.
Think about it. Is fear a specific physical reaction? Like how fast our heart beats? Or the pitch of a scream? Or maybe is it more psychological, like an overwhelming sense of uncertainty or revulsion?
Ew! Fun fear, like pleasant fear, like exhilarating fear. And then you're more likely to do it again.
Yeah. And how many times have you done something that you were terrified to do, but you got over it? And I deal with this all the time because I have giant lizards. I have giant snakes. I have all of these things, tarantulas, everything you could think of. To see people that are terrified of something. And then, they're like, I don't know. And then they'll hold it. And I'll give you guys a quick snapshot. So our boss here, so I do my local show here and I have my national show, which you guys listen to now. He terrified of snakes, didn't like snakes, but his son, Weston, who's just the greatest kid, wanted to see. He loves, this is what he wants to be, a herpetologist. Last Halloween, on the day of, he's like, can I bring Weston out? I said, yeah, do we have a little party? Why don't you guys come on out and he could see all the animals? He came out, and I had a little ball python. His name was Peanut. And Weston, I gave him some shed, and he was super excited. I said, dude, why don't you hold one? And he's like, really? And so he held it for like 2 hours. It was awesome to watch. My buddy was not happy. But he saw the joy it brought, and he got past that. He comes in that money. I told him the other day, I said, dude, his birthday was like a day or two later. I said, man, I've I said, we got peanut because my buddy offered me peanut. I said, I have 50 ball pythons. If you want peanut, you can just have peanut. And he's like, no, never, dude. Comes in. He's like, I want peanut for my son. And I brought peanut in. And now at least once or twice a week, he's like, dude, peanut's shedding. He still finds it creepy, but he got past it. And it was an exhilarating thing. And there's something about that. And I think it's definitely, you go back to when we were first standing upright and something could eat you, something could not eat you, and the fear and the adrenaline, and it shows you what life is. It's crazy. That's why I love Halloween. That's why I love the spooky, the scary, the creepy. Always had. Always have. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. So the infrastructure bill, which is floundering, nobody knows what exactly is going to go on there. They're trying to figure out how do they pay for it, because remember, it was supposed to be free. And Kirsten Sinema is not getting on board with taxing the corporations and the rich and having some sort of wealth tax. They're not quite sure even how to do that. But now they're trying to figure out, okay, what can we do tax-wise to get us something, because these people over here are they got all this money. So how do we go about getting some money? Because remember, it's free except for the part where we have to pay for it. Always.
Now, another proposal would set a 15% minimum corporate tax rate on top companies like Amazon, who earn more than $1 billion in profits. That's already been endorsed by one key moderate holdout, Senator Kirsten Sinema. But none of this comes without risk. Some have already questioned the constitutionality of that billionaire's tax, and any legal challenges here would severely undermine the president's promise that this would be completely paid for.
Yeah, and it's hard. What they're trying to do is they want to pay for it by unrealized gains. So if you don't know what unrealized gains is, imagine this. You bought your house. We went over this quickly. Yes, you bought your house for $100,000. So it's worth $300,000. They want you to pay the tax on the gain, even though you've never really achieved the gain. You've never taken the money and the profits. All you have done is just on paper realized a valuation that is greater than what you put into it. That's it. So you bought a stock for $10, it goes up to 40. If you were to take the money out, your tax liability lies between 10 and 40 because you put the $10 in, it's already been taxed. So that's where your tax gains are, right? But so you would have to pay your capital gains there. If they want to go, no, you know what? You've got it on paper $30 gain, so we want to tax you on that. But in reality, you've not sold that, realized it as actual gain. It's just numbers on a sheet. I don't know. Constitutionally, I don't think you can do that. You're essentially taxing people for air. And if it falls down the next day to $4, what happens then? You get that money back? How's that work? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from all of you. It is Woke Wednesday. We do wokey stuff because we love doing that. Let's go with this one. We're going to be playing them throughout the day because it's always fun. This is about Jesus being, well, is he a man? Is he a woman? What is he?
If you espouse to the idea that Jesus was born of a virgin birth, then Jesus could not have had male chromosomes. Therefore, Jesus had only female chromosomes and presented as masculine. So, Jesus was non-binary. And in terms of male and female, and the Hebrew, the word that was used for "and" describes a spectrum. Male and female and everything in between.
No. By the way, there is no Hebrew word for "and." There is v, right? Like that's kind of it, but there is no Hebrew word for it. So you're just kind of like, what? What are you talking about? So that's what it is now. Jesus is non-binary. Yeah, it's all about being woke, kids. All about woke. And woke comes with gender because people love talking a little bit about gender whenever they have a chance. We got more of these, including one we're going to play that you guys are going to love. It's about being a person of size. And those pesky chairs. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Car Shield is awesome. That check engine light comes on and you don't have any way to protect yourself because you don't have a warranty anymore. You're like, oh, God, what are you going to do? Because you look out there and you realize new cars are way more expensive if you can get one. And used cars are even more expensive in some cases than what people paid for them several years ago. So that's a lose-lose for you because you're like, I don't want to do that and I got to pay for this. Well, this is why you need Car Shield. I've had it. My family has it. I give it to people for presents because I realize the value of it. Covered repairs. Car Shield's administrators make everything easy. Handle the paperwork, expensive payments. You don't have to do any of that. No hassle, no headaches. You pay a small deductible and away you go. Car Shield could save you thousands. And thanks to my protection plans, I don't worry about like the engine. I don't worry about the transmission. And I don't worry. I had an issue with the electronics in my car. Everything got taken care of like that. Car Shield's administrators are so easy to work with. And here's the other thing. Car Shield gives you coast-to-coast roadside assistance, rental coverage, trip reimbursement, all at no additional charges. So whether your car's got 5,000, 150,000 miles on it, Car Shield has got a coverage that is for you at a price that fits your budget. They've helped over 1 million drivers. That's why they're America's #1 auto protection company. Car Shield, truly a win-win. That's what I want you to do. Save 10% right now. Get yourself covered. Go to carshield.com/Benson to save 10%. Carshield.com/Benson. Carshield.com/Benson. A deductible may apply.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
Over the weekend, Tom Brady threw his 600 touchdown pass. Might not, and I don't know if that is going to ever be duplicated. But the man who caught the football, right? So Mr. Evans decided, as he does every time he scores a touchdown, he runs over and he hands a fan the ball, not realizing it was the 600 touchdown pass. The gentleman who received the ball was excited and, wow, I can't believe it. This is amazing. But at the same time, that's the 600 touchdown pass. No one's ever done that before. Tom might want that.
That was really cool. I got it in the bag over there, so Mike gave it away. He goes, man, I'm sorry, man. I get it. I said, sorry. I'm sure they'll figure out a way to get it back. But I don't actually keep too many things. So in that circumstance, I felt like that might be a good one to keep.
Yeah. So originally it was, oh, you know what we're going to do here with this? We're going to give the guy $1,000 gift card to the shop here. Right. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a little weird. But, that's it. They have finally settled. He gets two because Monday they said the ball was valued at $500,000. Now they're saying it's valued probably closer to $750,000, which means somebody would have probably paid $1 million for it. He got 2 signed jerseys and a helmet from Tom, signed jerseys and game-worn cleats from Mike Evans, $1,000 in gift shop bucks. Top of that, he also got season tickets for the rest of this year and through the playoffs and everything and all of next year. And then Tom Brady threw in a Bitcoin for $63,000. That's nice. What would you have done? I would have ran to the parking lot with the football, and it would be on eBay by the time we got home. That's just me, though. A different kind of character. It is our favorite time of the year. It is Halloween. We love talking Halloween stuff. Nothing gets more Halloween-y than scary movies. I count it down every single year. This right here is the next in line of the Halloween-y movies.
Welcome to Chad's Halloween countdown of the best horror movies of all time. You've already heard 10 through 6. Now it's time to hear the rest. Shall we begin? Number 3, Jaws.
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution. without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws.
A brilliant movie if you've never seen it. Steven Spielberg's really made him in so many ways just the epic superstar and the first summer blockbuster. $9 million budget, well over budget. $472 million it made. The movie itself, it took a long time to film. They actually cast the movie before they had a shark. The shark's name was Bruce, and there were several of them. They were pains in the asses, and they talk about him all the time. He named the shark Bruce because that was his lawyer shark. Interesting stuff about the entire thing. But one of the most interesting things about the movie itself is the fact that nobody liked Richard Dreyfuss. Nobody did, especially Robert Shaw. What a great movie. If you've never seen it, Jaws. Number 2, tomorrow. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
When prices go up, people get frustrated. Compound interest, think of compound inflation. What is that supposed to mean? If it costs 3 or 4, 5% more to ship something, to produce something, that 3, 4, 5% is going to get passed on to you. And all of a sudden you look up and in your basket of goodies at the store, instead of it being your normal $125, it's $175, $200. Cost to get from point A to point B is more expensive. Last year at this time, we did it yesterday on my local show. We had them look it up. Average here was like $279. I paid $249. You feel that. You absolutely feel that. And then you look around and you look at this presidency. Again, he's only 10 months in. But immigration, hot mess. Inflation, hot mess. Supply chain, hot mess. Afghanistan, hot mess. Infrastructure deal, we can go on. And COVID, which we're still fighting over. Numbers are falling. Vaccinated. Do we get kids vaxxed? Don't we get them vaxxed? Should we get kids vaxxed? What are you going to do? Maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe yes, maybe no. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? You have people still fighting at stores over masking or unmasking.
Huh? Where's your mask? Where is your mask?
You need to get the out of my face and leave me alone because you are all nothing but the lowest form of military that ever existed. You need to get out of this. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. But the average person's over it. Inflation is the number one thing when it comes to worry. COVID was number one for the last, 16, 17 months. Now it's tied. People are looking around going, the holidays are here. What is going on? How expensive is this Christmas going to be? Am I going to be able to even have the kind of Christmas that I was hoping to have? I've got money, but I have nowhere to spend it. Or I've got money, but the stuff I want's way more expensive. People are frustrated. Even Mika,
Thanksgiving is now less than a month away, and it's shaping up to be the most expensive meal in the history of the holiday. Consumer groups say almost every ingredient in a traditional American Thanksgiving, from the disposable aluminum roasting pan to the pumpkin pie, will cost more. The supply chain crisis, trade policies, labor shortages, weather, and inflation are all contributing to higher prices. Experts warn that the biggest expense this year will be the turkey.
Up your paycheck. People are frustrated. They are. What can the president do? And that's just it. What can the president do? First of all, you need to address this. He's not addressing it. Jen Psaki's kind of addressing it, but at the beginning of the rise of inflation, as we started to see it, 30-year high, by the way, what were people saying? Oh, this is temporary. It'll be gone by midsummer, maybe late summer, maybe fall, maybe by the end of the year. Janet Yellen's like, well, maybe the end of next year. People want to hear that. So first thing he needs to do is address it. Look, guys, we're all going through this. It sucks. The way that the White House has handled this has been kind of like, oh, what, you can't get your Peloton? That is not what people want to hear. Yeah, stuff's going up, but it's just temporary. Be honest with the people. Hey, guys, it sucks. I'm going to see what I can do in every way, shape, or form to get more truck drivers out there. We've already been to the harbors, and if I have to go back out there and do something there, I'm going to address it as best that I possibly can. I am not a miracle worker. But I'm going to do everything I can to make sure these holidays go smooth and better than last year, and that at least we can help people get to a point where they feel good about going out and shopping, getting their goods, that maybe we can take some of the price crunch off people, and that some of those small business in particular will be able to see themselves out through this holiday season in a much better way than they did last holiday season. But he won't do that. He's not going to, because I just put together a whole string of words that, let's be real, he's probably not going to do. Now, I mean, they're still struggling with getting their infrastructure bill done.
Democrats desperately searching for a compromise.
It's an anxious time here on Capitol Hill.
Lawmakers huddling with senior White House staff amid intense pressure to cut a deal on President Biden's plan to reshape the social safety net and fight climate change.
When you're united, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're unanimous.
But there are still critical disputes among Democrats over the size and scope of the plan. Senator Joe Manchin still advocating for a $1.5 trillion price tag as other Democrats try to nudge him higher.
Yeah. Try to. They're going to do everything to play the nudge game. Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe, come on. It isn't going to work the way that people think.
I think in good faith you have to keep all options open or you're not being fair with the other side. I think 1.5 was more than fair.
Manchin is among the moderates who has pushed back on key climate provisions and efforts to significantly expand Medicare, which Senator Bernie Sanders said today is a non-starter.
Any serious reconciliation bill must include expanding Medicare to cover dental, hearing aids, and eyeglasses.
Yeah, eyeglasses, free stuff. Everybody's got free stuff. Look, I think we can all agree safety net protections for certain things is fantastic. But in a time where people are struggling and businesses are trying to go through and make their rent, make their payroll, make their year so they can fight on to another year so you can get more taxes from them, they're frustrated by all of the things they see, and it feels like it is a battle going on over, there's already a $1.2 trillion bill sitting right there that could be done and dusted, that's been voted on by the Senate, but will not be taken up by the House because this is what they really want. This is it.
I believe a final deal is within reach. Democrats will keep working until we're able to reach an agreement and pass this transformational legislation. There's going to be a very strong, robust climate package, and our goal is to meet the president's goal. There are different ways to get there.
Yeah. Right now, people are worried about getting from point A to point B. The climate package can come later. Get what you get now. Because if this flops or gets so watered down that, you're celebrating virtually nothing, which is what a lot of progressives and even some Democrats are saying, and the delaying continuing to go on while prices continue to rise, people are getting frustrated about the price of gas, about the price of every single thing out there, looking at a holiday season that may be a bust, all still while fighting the coronavirus and each other, and then you flip the calendar to 2021 and boom, midterm year. And what are you going to show for it? What are you going to show for it? Now it's one of these situations where, hey, you know what? We got to pay for this thing, even though it's free. So let's get all we can when it comes to monies.
Democrats are also still trying to come to an agreement on how to pay for the plan, proposing a billionaire's tax that would target the wealth of the richest Americans.
It would get at capital gains, which are an extraordinarily large part of the incomes of the wealthiest individuals.
As more priorities are being slashed, progressive members have become increasingly unhappy as the White House argues this is the only option.
These are all components of what the president ran on and what he promised, and they all would have a huge impact on people's lives. So do you want to be a part of that, or do you want to be a part of nothing? Because those are the alternatives.
So that's just it. A part of that or nothing. So you're going to tax people money that they haven't realized, even if they are billionaires. You're going to tax them on paper. Yeah, that's fair. No, it's not. I don't even think it's constitutionally right. I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can. I mean, they're going to try. Frustrating. People are frustrated. They're over it. They want solutions. But you know what they really want on top of all of this? How about you come out and address it? How about you come out and you say, look, guys, because you're great at empathy, bro. President Biden is great at empathy. Trump was awful at empathy. Biden's great at it. Come out. Don't whisper. Come out. Be straightforward and honest. Watch what happens. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Woke Wednesday. You know love. I love it. We all love being woke. We got some good woke stuff coming up that's going to make you go, what? Including fat phobia. That's person of size. We've also got some animal attacks. As you guys know, we love to tell you about nature. Oh, yeah, kids. Oh, yeah. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Raycon, best earbuds around. Raycons start under $70. Raycons are amazing. Raycons are the earbuds you need, especially this holiday season. Free shipping inside the United States. Hey, how about this? 45-day happiness guarantee. Now, with the everyday Raycons, I got new 3 sound profiles. Pure mode, balance mode, bass mode. Bass mode, hip-hop, EDM, reggae. Balance mode, podcast listening, like maybe the Chad Benson Show. Pure mode, podcast listening, blues, instrumental. I mean, it's awesome. The way that you can custom sound these already with your customized fit, because that's what you get with Raycons. No stems, no wires. You're going to love these. 8 hours of playtime, 32-hour battery life. Half the price of any other premium brands out there, and then some. Right now, Chad Benson Show listeners, that's you guys, save huge. 15% off your Raycon order. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Right there. Saves you 15% on already the absolute best earbuds around that start under $70. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Podcasts are American as hot dogs, apple pie, football, and sushi.
Oh my goodness. No.
Okay, maybe not sushi. Next time you have a craving for something sweet and tangy, download a Chad Benson Show podcast.
Boy, that is good. It's different because you get a little bit of saltiness.
It's so good because it's sweet and salty at the same time.
Get a taste on iTunes, iHeart, or Spotify and binge to your ears' content.
Oh, yeah.
You're listening to The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Now it's time to find out what's trending.
What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending?
Let us take a peek and find out what's trending. Where should we start, my friends? How about this one? Start over on Twitter. Cis with the T. Cisgender women showing their support for the inclusion of transgender women in women's spaces. Okay, there you go. Got that going on. How about that? San Francisco Chronicle. They have charts showing where California reservoir totals are and where they stand after the atmospheric river and the bomb cyclone that hit. Oh, yeah, kids. Oh, yeah. Nike's trending. Part of that is because of Enes Kanter challenging NBA players and Nike themselves. Take a look at where your shoes are being made and the slave labor that's being used. By that is, once again, China and the NBA have an issue. Adelaide United footballer Josh Cavallo becomes the world's only known current male top-flight professional footballer, that soccer player, to come out as gay. I'll be honest, I've never heard of him. And he plays in the A-League, which is kind of like the MLS in Australia. And so he's come out as gay. He's the only top-flight player in the world, they're saying. Head on over to the magical world of Google. Number one thing trending yesterday, World Series. Braves open up with a win. Interesting game. First time in the history that the World Series open up with a home run. Third pitch of the World Series home run. Charlie Morton, the starter for the Braves, is going to miss the rest of the series. Second inning, he took a line drive to his ankle, 102 miles an hour off the bat. Came out for the third inning, and then when he came down during one of his pitches, he fractured the ankle that was already probably broken. What? Spanx CEO. If you guys don't know who she is, we'll touch a little bit more. She's trending for all the right reasons, Sarah Blakely, and what she did yesterday. And shows you there are great bosses out there, and rarely do we hear about the great bosses. Kyle Rittenhouse, I don't know if you guys are following this. You guys remember him, right? So Kyle Rittenhouse was the kid, I think was he 17 at the time, who killed two people during the Kenosha protest, not too far after the George Floyd incident. Remember we had the Summer of Rage? Well, yesterday, the judge essentially said, hey, you can't, you being the prosecution, you can't refer to the people that he shot as victims. He said the word victim is loaded. It's a loaded word, according to the judge. Kenosha County Circuit Court, Bruce Schroeder. So, but they can call them rioters and looters. So let's see where this contentious thing goes from there. But when you're already got a judge that's saying, you know what? You can't call them victims. You have to call them rioters and looters. It's going to be interesting to see this. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from all of you. Some wokeness coming up. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Everything's getting more expensive. You know that, and I know that. It is. Stuff's getting more expensive. People getting frustrated. People getting angry. I can't blame everything on... First of all, I don't blame everything on any president or government. Do I think governments, in particular state governments, can make certain things just untenable anymore? And you're like, we got to break. Like Kat Von D, she closed up her famous tattoo shop in Los Angeles. She moved out to Indiana about a year or so ago, and she moved out there, and she's a bit right wing. It's the best way to describe it. And she's got this conservative sense and feel that, and she just was like, she closed up her shop the other day, and she's, I can't. It's not worth it. The taxes aren't worth. None of this is worth it anymore. And that's understandable. That's the beauty of how our country is formed, is we've got 50 small countries all competing for your business. All competing for your business. You don't like it over there? Come over here. You don't like it over there? Come over here. The most important thing to you is women's rights and being uber inclusive. You're probably living on the coast. If the most important thing to you is, hey, you know what? I like my guns. I like freedom. I like my government out of my way. You're probably going to Texas, somewhere in the Midwest. But people are asking questions about what they're seeing right now, what they're feeling at this moment in time. And they're feeling the pinch of this economy. And it's not all Biden's fault, but there are some things that he can do. But it's not going to be perfect. It's not. This battle of trying to figure out how to pay for all of this stuff, to not raise taxes on everybody. Because at the end of the day, that's so much of what's, they always say it doesn't cost the thing until it costs something. Like if I go into a store today and I put a bunch of stuff in my basket, it hasn't cost me anything till I get to the front. One of the things they're talking about is that is being left out is if you look at some of the way that they've structured some of this stuff like pre-K and some of these other things, childcare, if you make $1 more than essentially the median average, so you and your husband, your husband and the husband, the whatever it is, if you make $1 more than the median average, the jump in childcare cost to you could be upwards of $10,000, $12,000, $13,000. So while you may not be getting taxed, you are feeling it. You are feeling it. And people are feeling it, and they're trying to figure out how to maneuver in this day and age of the everything from mandates to inflation to everything in between. And they're frustrated and they're seeing things rise. And they just like, if it's not one tax, it's another. If it's not inflation, it's not all doom and gloom. But if you're this president, you address it. If you're this president, you come out and you say, look, I'm frustrated. I want to do more. We need to do more. We need to put things in motion that can get us in a better position. We need to figure out how do we alleviate the pain at the pump. If you make $200,000 a year, $300,000 a year, minus living in like San Francisco or Los Angeles, and gas goes up 50 cents, 60 cents, you're pissed. You're like, frustrates me. Groceries a little bit more. Yeah, frustrates me. Whatever. But if you're living on that edge, you feel that. So how and what can you do to alleviate pain for a bit while you try to get some of this stuff moving in a general direction that you think is good? And that's what leaders do. And the other thing is you address it. And I haven't heard much addressing of it. I hear him come out and talk about his usual stuff, but you come out and you actually talk about it. Hey, guys, Sucks. I'm here. We're going to do everything we can to make this good. We're going to do everything we can to alleviate some of this pain. It will not be perfect. But we're going to do all that we can to do what we can within the powers and the means and all, I don't know if you're going to hear any of that. Instead, you got Jen Psaki's the only one out there who seems to be pushing back or trying to spin stuff the way that they think that might be good. But they're still, it's like they're fighting over January 6th. They're fighting over climate change. Not that the climate's not important, not that January 6th is not important. But we live in a world where people are looking at what is going on now in this moment. That's what you need to focus on. And I don't feel they are. And I think a lot of people feel that way. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. It is Woke Wednesday. We do wokety, woke things. Let's do this one. This one may be my favorite. People of size, right? That is people who have nutritionally overachieved, if you'd like to use it like that. Those people who are everybody, because you're just people, but we have to, everybody wants to be in a group. You got to be, I got to put you here, over here, I got to take you, I got to put you here, and I want to be in this group. So they take to TikToks and Instagram and all of these things. This one stood out to me because it's those pesky chairs.
Chairs are the biggest fucking issue in the fat community. The amount of public spaces like doctors' offices, malls, what the ever, places that have seating, restaurants, etc., never, ever have accessible seating. If you have never looked at a picture of a restaurant on Google Maps to try and figure out if the seating would be accessible to your size, if you've never broken a chair in a public space especially, if you've never had to second guess whether or not it was okay to sit down in the chairs provided to you, if you've never had a fucking panic attack at school because you couldn't fit into the damn chair desk situation, then you don't deal with fat phobia at the same level that the rest of us do.
First of all, I'm not scared of fat people. Nutritional overachievers. I'm not scared of I don't think I'm scared of anybody. like, are you scared of trans people? Nope. What about, but it's those pesky chairs. When you see somebody who's an addict and they yesterday I was watching Bridget Fetzi. We've had her on the show. She's awesome. And she was on with Rogan. It's a comic. And Bridget follows me, and that makes me smile because she's funny. If you want a good follow, go follow Bridget Fetzi. She's great. But she was talking about being an addict. She was an addict. She was a hot mess. She was talking about what a hot mess she was, and then she realized I just can't do this anymore. She got to a point where it was she goes, I realized that I was at Coachella, and I was so messed up that I was in the VIP thing, and I fell down a hill. I rolled down a hill and smashed into a tent. And then I woke up a day later and my friends had left me. And she goes, that's when I think if you go to a mall and you sit on a chair and the chair breaks, and I'm not talking about a funny chair like your friends, but you know what I mean. Maybe that's rock bottom. Maybe we shouldn't empower people to feel great about themselves in that way, but maybe start empowering people to go, hey, you know what? You're a great person and a good human being, but you need to get fit because chairs. I'm just saying, don't want to be a jerk. Everybody can lose a few pounds, myself included, work out as much as I possibly can, and I work out pretty hard at 50. I think I'm in pretty damn good shape, but everybody, but we're not talking about somebody who's 20, 30 pounds overweight. We're talking about people that are, wow. At what point do you go, I might need to make a change? There's got to be a point, right? You would think this might be the time. Like, this one might be the time. And not only that, but, it's my uncle and I get into this all the time. I love him. He needs to lose weight. I love him. I'm like, dude, you're going to die. I can't have that. I don't have a lot of family left, and I love you. You got to get fit. And we battle about it. It's because I love him, and I would want somebody to do that for me. But, man, as big as he is, he does not worry about the chair thing. That is, wow. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. The vaccine craziness is going on. You guys understand that. Now they may change the definition to not fully vaccinated until you get your third. You're like, really? And now, on the other side of things, you got them coming out yesterday and go, hey, if you guys are really have issues with your, if you're compromised because if you got comorbidities, you might want to get a fourth. Then you've got the likes of Kyrie Irving who are like, yeah, I'm not getting a shot, and they're standing by it. And he's got somebody in his corner, literally, Floyd Mayweather, Money Mayweather.
Kyrie, what's up? I know you're going through a lot. We had a chance to hang out in 2016 when you represented America, when you represented the red, white, and blue. You're a great person, great father, great athlete, and you believe what you believe. America is the land of the free. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to choose. Never be controlled by money. I respect you for having some integrity and being your own man.
Yeah. I was like, wow, that was well done.
One man can lead a revolution to stand up and fight for what's right. It's crazy how people hate you for being a leader. I hope your actions encourage many others to stand up and say enough is enough. Respect to you, Kyrie.
Money Mayweather there. The battles are never won. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Just don't ask Money Mayweather to read a book. I hope you're laughing at that one, Phil. If you guys have no idea, let's just say they tried to get him to do a bunch of radio liners one day, and it didn't go well. He's got a lot of money, though. It's Money Mayweather. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. At the Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Raycon's best earbuds around. Love my Raycons. I do. Love them. The new everyday earbuds are incredible. First of all, they got improved rubber oil look, right? Feels amazing. Optimized gel tips for the perfect in-ear fit, so you get that noise-isolating fit. But now, 3 new sound profiles: pure mode, balanced mode, bass mode. Let's just say you want to listen to your podcast, maybe something instrumental, bluesy. That's the pure mode. Balanced mode, podcast, maybe some rock, heavy metal, alt. There you go. Bass mode, you want to EDM, hip-hop, reggae. That is what you do for that one. 8 hours of playtime, 32 hours of battery life. Built-in mic, so when you're talking to somebody, they hear you, you hear them. Incredible charging case that gives you up to 4 full charges with wireless charging options available. Half the price of other premium audio brands and 45-day happiness guarantee. Right now, Chat Show listeners, that's you guys. What? Save 15%. BuyRaycon.com/Chad saves you 15%. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
That's me, kids. That's me. If you've not seen Squid Games, it is, well, first of all, it's kind of a trip. I think it says a lot more about us than anything else. But essentially, if you've not seen it, it's the big game that, it's a big thing that's taken over Netflix. You got cash-strapped contestants. So people are desperate. And they accept an invitation to compete in a children's game for all these prizes. But it gets more dangerous, and essentially you end up dying. And there's going to be, it's like Highlander, but a game where there can only be one.
Squid Game. It's taken the world by storm, a certified worldwide hit and the most watched show ever on Netflix. And for all that, creator Hwang Dong-hyuk has gotten nothing extra. He tells the UK outlet The Guardian he's seen no bonus from Netflix, just what he got from the original contract. Some are saying that seems a little unfair, given it was made for next to nothing and is reportedly worth almost $1 billion to the streaming service in subscription revenue and other calculations. But he did lose something, revealing making the show was so stressful, he lost 6 teeth in the process.
Wow, that's interesting right there. But it's a very interesting concept. And I've seen other things like this. People are desperate, will do desperate things. You always hear about, like, there was a couple movies a couple years ago where it wasn't like so much Squid Games, but it was a game where it was kind of like truth or dare kind of thing. Or, what if I offered you X amount of dollars? Would you, take out your eye and stuff like that? But this thing's huge. But then there's a question about kids. Like, what's the age for a lot of these things that kids can consume? Because you don't want to say no. At the same time, you've got to, this is where being a parent and you actually have to pay attention to what the kids are wanting and watching.
Schools in Australia are reportedly asking parents to make sure their kids don't watch the popular Netflix show Squid Game. According to the Washington Post, parents in the city of Belfast are being asked to make sure they've turned on their parental controls. The show is very violent. It focuses on 456 adults fighting each other to the death for a chance to win $1 million and is meant for people 15 and older. Netflix says the show has reached the top 10 list in 94 countries.
So I've watched a good portion of it. They don't show the women and the kids. The men, though, they'll blast the men. They don't care about that. They'll show that. And it's an interesting concept. It does say a lot about us that we just look at this thing and oh my God, and it becomes something big, because I don't think we're too far away from something maybe not as violent as this, but something like this. I mean, let's be real. Jackass. It's one. Naked and Afraid. Survivor Man. Alaskan Bush People. Survivor. I mean, we haven't done it yet, but somebody's going to try something. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. I do love hearing from every single one of you. Check out Getter.com and everything else. We got a lot of stuff out there. 'Tis the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
This is interesting to say the least. You guys ready for this? We live in a world of inclusion. It's all about being diverse and inclusive, which I am totally fine about. You know what I like? It happening naturally. Because when you do it in a way that's not natural and you force it, it's crap, right? You do it naturally. And you work to foster and put stuff out there. There's no doubt about that. And you work to try to bring people into organizations and maybe look in different places you wouldn't think about before. But this I find to be so fascinating. North Carolina. A VP at a hospital there has now won what looks to be the first true reverse discrimination payout of $10 million. Which, when you hear what happened, and then you hear the people that fired him, and you hear what they said, You're like, I'm surprised that this thing even went to any kind of trial. His name was David Duval, not the golfer. He was fired by Novant Health, South Carolina, 3 years ago. 5 days just before his work anniversary. He was a senior vice president of marketing and communications. He was not given a reason and was even told by his supervisors he had not only done nothing wrong, he had gone above exceptionalism. They gave his job out to Kate Everett and Vicky Free. Everett is white, worked beneath him, was promoted to chief PR and communications officer. Free, who's black, was brought in as chief marketing officer. Duval, for his part, said, look, both these women are great. They're both qualified, but no so more than him. And they said the company's got this inclusion and diversity plan, and that when the company defended themselves, this is what I love. They said, well, he wasn't the only white guy who got fired. We fired 5 other ones. That's your defense? That's your defense? Well, we fired 5 other ones. So what's he bitching about? No, I don't think it works that way. So they came back, the jury, with $10 million. They said, oh, well, look, we denied that the reason the other 5 guys or 4 guys were fired were white, and we fired them for being white. But based on this, we should probably talk to them. We're extremely disappointed with the verdict. Novant is one of the 1,000 organizations who put in place this diversity inclusion program, which we believe can coexist along with strong, non-discriminatory policies that extend to all races, genders, including white men, who, as we all know, are the devil. You know, I know. I told that all the time. When people don't have, like, so somebody will be in a debate with you, and I try not to get into these things on, you know, the social media. Like right now, one's going on, but everybody agrees with me, and it's simple because Oreos has a candy corn Oreo, and we all agree it's awful because candy corn is awful. Would you like wax for food? No. But when you do get into these debates sometimes, right? And I try to stay a bit away from them just because it gets frustrating and people are so ridiculous. But a lot of times when people get frustrated or whatever it is that they're trying to do, they say, well, it's easy for you because you're a cis white male. Like that's their drop the mic thing. That's their, oh, yeah, well, yeah, because of this. Because of this. The only reason, and that's part of the fact that we just have people that are so, I don't get, like, what goes through people's minds. Like, okay, how are you frustrated at something? To the point where you'll say horrible things to one another who you've never met, and that you've got to go to, whatever it is, whether you're using race as a card, no matter what color your race is, or who you love, or what you identify as, or whom you identify as, or what it's just, it boggles the mind. But yeah, this guy, he's got every right. Like, if you're fired strictly because you're white, why isn't that illegal? Why shouldn't he get paid? Because people that came before him did things that were awful, and because of that, he should pay the price for it, the sins of the father? Oh, my Lord. And again, I like the fact that during his trial, Mr. Duval, who won $10 million from Novant Health, who is white, was replaced by a white woman and a black woman, said that both of them are more than capable, the ladies. It had nothing to do with them and all to do with what they were trying. And you're seeing that. I'm seeing that. Like, I do these auditions every day. You got to see some of the stuff that's sent. which is fine. You're going for something in some ways. I get that, but it's like we are so like trying so hard to be diverse. How about you just let it happen? Right? Like that's the way it works. You just let it happen. Yeah, you encourage people. You push. You go out and you go into communities and you think, hey man, I got to be. I'm looking for somebody. Somebody's a hustler. Somebody's strong. Somebody's smart. Somebody's who's got a work ethic. Who's willing to do. I'm looking for certain things that maybe this group over here isn't going to get me. And so I'm going to think outside the box. And you go and you recruit from areas that you maybe wouldn't have thought about recruiting from. But you do it in a natural way, not because you're trying to fill a quota or check a box. But because you're doing it in a way where you're like, this is going to benefit my company. This is going to benefit my business. This is going to benefit and become an asset to all of us, from our customers to our other employees. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. By the way, when they went and they said, so you fired all these 5 other men, chief legal officer, medical group president, chief information officer, patient experience officer, and president of Haymarket Medical Center, all of them were replaced by a person of color or a woman within 12 months. Not saying those people aren't capable, and giving people chances is amazing. But if you're just firing because you feel like you have to meet a quota, that's not good. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Please feel free to tweet at me your love, your hate. Turkey Day, a little bit more expensive.
Thanksgiving is now less than a month away, and it's shaping up to be the most expensive meal in the history of the holiday. Consumer groups say almost every ingredient in a traditional American Thanksgiving, from the disposable aluminum roasting pan to the pumpkin pie, will cost more. The supply chain crisis, trade policies, labor shortages, weather, and inflation are all contributing to higher prices. Experts warn that the biggest expense this year will be the turkey.
Yeah. That's a big expense because, well, we've had issues with not just the supply chain when it comes to what's going on overseas, but think about this too. Labor shortage, which is part of the supply chain here in America, which means they're not being able to process as many turkeys as they need to, is causing hell and havoc. Yesterday, Alex Stone joined me on my local show because he doesn't want to get up extra early, but he went on this 1:28 rant that I'm going to play about it literally in one breath of the nightmare that you start to see, the little domino effect of one thing leads to another thing, leads to another thing, leads to another thing, and then voila, expensive.
Across the board, product prices are going up. Turkey, spices, cranberry coffee, even the aluminum turkey roasting pan is costing a lot more this year. So Nestle and Procter & Gamble, they say their product prices are going up, number of reasons, and that then means that you're paying more for every item that you're buying at the store right now. So it's a mix of supply chain, higher transport costs with gas prices sky high, labor being in short supply, trade policies, inflation. Price of food went up 4.6% year over year in September. Meat and poultry up 10.5%, which is a problem when you're talking about a turkey. So breaking this down, the price per pound for turkey expected to surpass the record benchmark price per pound of $1.36 back in 2015. Turkey prices, farmers say, up because corn is way up and they've got to feed the birds. Frozen birds, 25 cents a pound higher than a year ago. Jeez. Packaged dinner roll prices are up because everything in them costs more. They use the flour and everything else to make them. Anything in a can is more expensive because plants are still catching up. China has limited steel production to cut greenhouse gas emissions there. Wine prices are up because glass bottle prices are up. The labor out in the field. So whether it be the wine or the turkey or the aluminum pan or the canned cranberry sauce, which I argue is better than the fresh stuff, it's all going to be more expensive.
Yep. So I think we get that now. And there's a lot of reasons, not just one singular, like, oh, Joe Biden's president, so it's his fault. But there is a lot of things that are going on, and some of what's set in motion pre him, and some of it has been going on since he's got there, and I don't see it getting any better anytime soon. And you know that every time you go to the gas station and you feel it, every time you go to the store, you feel it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Please, please, please tweet, text. Love hearing from all of you. Rough Greens makes any pet food better, and that is certainly true. RUFFgreens.com/Chad. Feed it to my dogs. They absolutely love it. But what I love with the vitamins, the minerals, the vegetables, the probiotics, all these amazing things is the fact that this supplement that you put on top of it, I don't have to change their food. But the difference and the change in them is dramatic, especially my older dog, Doodle. He had bad hips, arthritic hips, lymphatic tumors, a lot of issues. We were going to put him to sleep because we used to think he was having an enjoyable life. And quite frankly, he was awful to be around at times. Now he's happier, he's healthier, and the energy he has is through the roof. Plus, allergy season is really here right now with the winds and the planting and all the stuff that's going on out here in Arizona. Normally this time of year, his fur is a bit of a hot mess, and he's got some hot spots. None of that because of Rough Greens. Try it before you buy it. RUFFgreens.com/Chad. Let me tell you, you go there, they're going to send you a bag. You cover the cost of shipping. Roughgreens.com/Chad or call 833-MY-DOG-77, 833-MY-DOG-77. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Check out our Chad Benson Show Facebook page where you can hang out or hang your grievances out to dry. This is Chad Benson.
Issues if you're the Democrats in the let's defund the police, right? Let's get rid of the police. Let's do all this. I mean, we see it up in Portland, right? $500,000 of damage, not this past weekend, the weekend before last. The cops are like, you guys should have called social workers. It's like, you've taken away our way to stop anything from happening. And then what do you want us to do? I mean, what they really should do is just turn them into bobbies like it's in England. Give them a whistle and a stick. And then run that experiment and see how it goes. I don't think people in Portland would be thrilled by that, because I think the people in Portland are over just the stupidity of the youth who will not grow up, but would rather run around and throw a fit about, who knows, the wind's blowing the wrong way today. But that big movement last year, crime has jumped up, especially violent crime. And people go, well, crime's down. No, well, when you don't count crime as crime, then yes, it's down. But if you think, hey, in California, if you're still under $1,000, we're really not going to do anything to you, and you steal $800 or $900, and it isn't only till people go, this can't happen because we caught you on video and we find it to be just awful, well then, all right, maybe we'll stop them. And I don't blame the officers. Minneapolis, where the murder of George Floyd really started the summer of discontent, and couple that with all the other stuff that was going on with COVID and everything, well, on the ballot is what to do with the police.
The ballot measure would get rid of the language in the city charter that establishes the police department, the position of the police chief, and a minimum funding requirement, and replace that with the creation of a Department of Public Safety led by a commissioner who answers to both the mayor and the city council. Supporters say instead of a police-only method to public safety, the change opens the door to utilizing social workers, substance abuse experts, and more. Opponents, however, say the change creates more bureaucracy, and the vague language of the amendment lacks a clear roadmap for public safety going forward.
Yeah, just to let you know, violent crime in Minneapolis up 17%, record number of murders. Right now. And remember when they were like, we're going to get rid of the police. And then the numbers jump. They're like, give them more money. But by then, they'd either retired or they'd gone somewhere else. Was crazy. On top of violent crime and murders, what you're seeing. 41%, they say, of violent crime was motivated by bias against black people. They say the value of the property being stolen was jumped 55% to 216 million. So, reimagining the police is what you want to do. You're never going to win saying the economy doesn't matter, and you're never going to win saying crime's no big deal and that the person that did something to you was really the victim. You've got to figure out how to go, we're reimagining police. But first and foremost, we need police. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. We got some woke stuff because it is Woke Wednesday. We shall discuss. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
That is us. Hope you're doing well. We were talking earlier about like some of the crazy stuff. Somebody sent me this yesterday. This is a perfect example of just the weirdness of people and the irrationale that they have. Somebody sends me, and first of all, sometimes I often wonder, I don't know if you're listening to my show. And it's from like an Occupy Democrats, and it shows the QAnon shaman and some sort of Trump supporter and the guy that looks like Rasputin, who are all wandering through the halls there at the Capitol. And then above it shows the Taliban, and it's all same blank, different country. I'm like, no. It's like, not even close. Like, and people will say, you know, I got this the other day. Oh, you're a Christian? Well, yeah. Well, you know, it's like just like one of those Taliban kind of things. And I'm like, so let me ask you this. All right, whether you're just a straight out, you know, you're a Christian or you're a Mormon, whatever it is, Catholic, you're telling me that you would rather hang out with the Taliban, or that they equate to the same thing as these nut jobs in whether it be, January 6th, or the kids are coming, to your house and they're Mormons and they're on their mission tour, or what you're telling me it's the exact same. Like that's, yeah, totally. You can't, there's no talking to people. I get that all the time. I just, you sit there and you think, I don't, like, are you being serious? Yeah. Like, so you think they're the exact same thing. So the Taliban, rape, murder, pillage, kill, destroy, all of those things is the same thing as the QAnon shaman. You think they're the exact same thing. Like those guys, like if you had to hang out with, oh yeah, because they're going to do the same thing to me. Okay. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. We like getting woke. We enjoy getting woke. Woke is, well, it's woke-tacular. It's Woke Wednesday. We got all kinds of fun woke stuff. And I remember, what is fringe now will become mainstream. And that goes with things like music, right? You're like, oh, this band's not very big. They're just kind of on the... But then it becomes part of the mainstream eventually. Like U2 just wasn't a band. They played a lot of crappy small gigs. They were fringe and people, you hear people, I only liked them when they were, like fringe and independent. But the reality is that goes for the wokeness. What is happening now is now seeping into everything. So we like to make sure that you guys are ahead of it all, that you have an understanding of wokeness, that you get things like gender.
What is your gender?
I identify female.
I am male.
For me, there's a little bit of a difference between gender and gender expression. My gender is feminine.
I was born anatomically, scientifically. Doctors were like, that's a girl.
Mm-hmm.
But as I grew up, I was like, that doesn't really work for me. I feel like I'm a more masculine person.
Like a cis male is what.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm so uneducated on that.
Yeah.
Like a cis, like you, what?
For me personally, the hardest thing is like figuring out when and where to have my male privilege, how to use it for other people.
I do sometimes have a problem with how women are perceived to be like, all right, you're about 25, when you're having kids, when you're getting married.
So I don't feel that she or her or even he and him is the right pronoun for me. So I ask people refer to me as they.
Yeah.
I think one of the worst things about it is just feeling like you're constantly being sexualized.
Like people are looking at you because you're like, oh, you're kind of, you're pretty, you're hot. Well, you can avoid that if you want to, and you can put on stuff that makes you not look that way. Or are you talking about that they're trying to put you in a sex? You should be male or you should be female. Now, as of today, we are issuing passports with X. Not Nas, like X going to give it to you. No, X, so that third gender. Well, there's 98, so we're getting. But here's my thing. What if the country that you're going to isn't as woke as you are? And they're like, no. What if that happens? What if you're going to a country and they say, you know what? No, sorry. You don't get the right to failure to declare here on that. Because we don't know what other people's laws are like. I'm just saying. I'm pointing it out there. So you got the gender thing, and then let's talk about the sexuality thing. And this right here is just everything that is woke in this world.
I got cornered by 3 of my 6th grade students at lunch today, and they came up to me all excited. They were like, Miss Collins, what's your sexuality? And I said, why do you need to know that right now? And they were like, oh, I don't know. I just think you'd be like a super fun, like, bi or pan person. And I said, well, I don't really know how much I'm allowed to talk about this to students, but does looking at my shoelaces help? What? And these kids just flipped out. They were so excited.
Yeah, because she had shoelaces on that apparently tell you what your sexuality is or her sex. First of all, in my entire life, I've never gone, I wonder what my teacher's sexuality is. Because when I got old enough to really kind of get that, you kind of knew, right? You knew who the gay teacher was, right? You knew who you knew. Like, you're out there and you're getting ready to play dodgeball or run, and you're in 9th or 10th grade, and you got your female gym coach. She's like, come on, guys. Like, I kind of get it, right? She plays softball. You don't get where I'm going with this, right? I'm not trying to be mean. But I would never walk up and, hey, are you a lesbian? I'm curious. She's like, don't, look at my shoelaces. You're not wearing, oh, you got Birkenstocks on. I get it. That's the wokeness. 6th grade. Some of that stuff you just said there, you're like, my God, I would never in my life have thought about like walking up to. Nowadays, if you're in Florida, you just walk up to your 6th grade. So, hey, teach, you dating anyone? I'm married, but we could have sex. It's not very nice, Chad. Always seems to be Florida, though, doesn't it? Once in a while, it's another place, but the majority of the times, it's Florida. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Speaking of an identity crisis.
Have you ever thought my life would be easier for you if you shifted to being a Republican? People have approached you about doing that.
Every day.
Every day. Wouldn't life be easier for you to do that?
Oh, it'd be much easier. My goodness. What I'm telling you now is who I am. Do you think by having a D or an I or an R is going to change who I am? I don't think the R's be any more happier with me than D's are right now. I mean, that's about as blunt as I can put it. So I don't know where in the hell I belong.
So he doesn't know his identity politically. That is Joe Manchin. He doesn't. He doesn't fit anywhere. Doesn't fit in a box. Kyrsten Sinema. Democrats have a problem with her. She doesn't fit in a box. And by the way, it isn't just the last several weeks with the infrastructure. Kyrsten Sinema is kind of done her own thing since she's been a senator. She's been a pretty good one. You go look at her. She's been pretty independent. You know, they show up, like, remember all the women showed up in, like, white dresses to protest Trump's, speech one night, right? And, so he's giving the State of the Union, and they're all in white dresses, and she shows up in, like, a red dress. Like, she's kind of done her own thing, and she's been, I don't say a thorn in her side, but she just kind of does her own gig. Now, she is putting on a masterclass on how to raise money. But I think she's done some good things as well. You're not going to find somebody that's 100% perfect in everything that you agree with, because if you do, you're in a cult. Joe Manchin has survived for years in West Virginia, being on the left side of the aisle in a place that is dead red. So, but he kind of does his own thing, and he's always pushed back. It's just now more prominent because the power that they have is really like, they don't know what to do. And I think they get frustrated. Well, why did you hit Sinema on all the money she takes? They all take money. Go look at the amount of money. Go to opensecrets.com and see the amount of money that is pouring in from big pharma. Massive amounts of money. Watch CNN. Watch Fox. Watch MSNBC and all of them. And you see the commercials that run before it. It's all big pharma. Yeah, there's agendas. People take money. Be a hypocrite not to say that people don't when you know you do as well. We're all doing something for somebody that we don't really want to do, even if you own your own business, but that's part of kind of the world we live in. It's just, at what point do you push back? When is enough enough? When do you say no? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Scary movie. We have got your countdown. I'm going to give you the number 3 today. Also, we have, nature will mess you up because you guys know that. But we'll talk about it straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
You stink like fear and white male privilege to me.
I do often out myself verbally as a gender. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm proud to be a gender.
Are you stupid?
What? Are you kidding me? Not a great way to use your white privilege.
Some people get it, some people don't.
You're listening to The Chad Benson Show.
We're a few days away from the governor's race election day that everybody's paying attention to. And that is Terry McAuliffe and Glenn Youngkin. McAuliffe wants everybody to pay attention to him, as does Youngkin. Youngkin has a ton of money. He's well-to-do, to say the least. Wealthy when you have $300 million. He's put a lot of money into himself, raising money as well. But McAuliffe, who wants the job back, he wants everybody to understand why you should vote for him, and he wrote a song about it. Want to hear it? Here it goes.
There's an election coming up in my home state, and I don't know about you, but I think it'd be pretty great if we could all get out to vote to keep Virginia blue. For governor, I'll vote for Terry McAuliffe, cause he's done the job before and he fights for all of us. So let me tell you where he stands on key issues. He defends gender equalities with all of his might. He's a brick wall for women's reproductive rights. So on November 2nd, get out to vote and check your registration. Don't miss the boat.
No. It's just awful based on that. No. You didn't tell me how you were going to help make people's lives a lot better. Instead, you pandered to a whole bunch with letters. That's what I'm saying. I hope you know it's true. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Producer Phil, remind everybody what nature can do to you.
Nature will mess you up.
Mess you up, even if you're on vacation.
Charlie Bull is 12 years old, was playing hide-and-seek with his brother at a lagoon on their resort in Cancun, Mexico, and suddenly he felt a stabbing pain along his calf.
I could feel like it almost pushing on the inside of my leg.
Turned out to be a crocodile that had leaped out of the water and latched onto his leg. Employees at the resort rushed in.
And they were kicking the crocodile's eyes and putting a blue pillow on its head. And then finally it let go.
Doctors thought Charlie might lose his leg. After a lot of stitches, he's walking and running again. The resort paying all the medical bills.
He is fine. It did tear him up, though. That's for sure. Yes, there are crocodiles, Morlett's crocodiles, Mexican croc, decent size, between about 10 feet. But be careful, because crocodiles will eat you when given the chance, little or big. That is for sure. Speaking of being eaten, it is the Halloween countdown. I count them down. From top to bottom, bottom to top. Give you the 10 best. Conjuring 10, American Werewolf in London 9, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 8, Amityville Horror 7, Sinister in at 6, Friday the 13th, number 5, Exorcist number 4, and this little ditty right here.
Welcome to Chad's Halloween countdown of the best horror movies of all time. You've already heard 10 through 6. Now it's time to hear the rest. Shall we begin? Number 3, Jaws.
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution. Without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws.
Absolutely. Brilliant movie. If you've never seen Jaws. One of the ones that scared me partially because of how real it is. Shark attacks happen, not all the time, but the reality is that's a real thing. And the shark kind of had a bit of a growl to it. Became a monster. Peter Benchley, Carl Gottlieb wrote the screenplay. It debuted June 20th, 1975, and many people credit this to being the first summer blockbuster hit. The first. Loosely based on the Mattawa County attacks that took place in the early 1920s. An absolutely amazing movie that cost $9 million to make, which is over budget for Steven Spielberg. $472 million in box office receipts. One of the great stories about it was the part in the movie Jaws where they go down to look at the guy's boat and they pull the tooth. They didn't think it was good enough. It didn't look good. They went back and filmed that in Spielberg's pool, I believed, and that became terrifying. He said he went the first couple weeks to see the movie just to that part to turn around and to see all the things that were happening. And then when people freaked out when the head pops out when he grabs the tooth, he got up and left. Great movie. That's your number 3, Jaws. Solid fun day. We got you over the hump. We'll do it again tomorrow at Chad Benson Show, Twitter, Getter, Facebook, everything else in between. You guys have a blessed, wonderful day. Over the hump we go. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.